Thank you, dear speakers. I'll introduce you during my introduction. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It is really an honor and a pleasure to be the moderator for this session, as light art has a special place in my heart, so I'm really happy to be here for this. As you've seen in the program, we're going to be focusing on humans at the heart of light festivals, and so we are all human here, hopefully, today. And I'd like to see a raise of hands for everyone who saw the festival yesterday, who was here, who went through the fête. Great, a good part of you. So hopefully you felt human as you went through the festival. Did you, with a show of hands, feel connected, involved as you wandered through to the works, to some of the moving images or moving objects you saw? Anyone? Did you feel connected? Okay, good. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about how we involve you more in festivals in the future. So we're talking about humans because there's been a growing trend in festivals around the world in involving the spectacle, performance art, and parades. And these are really new ways of experiencing festivals besides just the projections on a screen or on a building, which are still beautiful, but how can we go even deeper and involve everyone who's experiencing these events? So to let you know how this session will go, I'm going to make a brief introduction about the context of parades, performances in festivals, and then I will pass it on to each speaker who will do a little presentation. In between, I might ask a few questions, and then I'll have a few more questions for our speakers and then open it up to you all, because as we've heard this morning from Jaap and Mark, this is all about exchange of knowledge and exchange of inspiration and questions, so we really hope that you'll have some questions for our speakers. So let's take a look back at some of the parades. That's one thing I'm going to talk about today. Parades are a big part of festivals sometimes, and we have parades that are religious, parades that are military in many countries, and secular parades, different kinds of parades. So here I've presented you they're always very colorful, so they make for a nice slide. And examples from around the world that you've probably heard of: the Carnival in Brazil, the Day of the Dead in Mexico City, the Thanksgiving Day Parade in the United States. All of these parades really involve big, colorful things, moving vehicles, moving floats, people dressed up, really getting involved. They're here for a specific reason, like I said, either religious, sometimes it's just for something fun, other times it's to get to a certain place. So we're really seeing this all around the world. But what you'll notice in this image is that everything is happening during the day. So what happens at night? And that's what we're really here for, because we're here to experience the Fête des Lumières at night, and we're all here about lighting, which usually happens at night. So we have some festivals, parades, and things happening at night. Right here in Lyon, actually, we have the Biennale de la Danse, which is another great moment of parade of humans in the streets, dressed up, dancing, and all of that. So I wanted to bring us back to Lyon in the daytime, and now we will go to the nighttime. Here we go. So at night, we have a lot of things happening in our light festivals around the world. We have performances, light art parades, moving objects that are lit up, people with lanterns, and again, really involving the people in these moments. One example here, we have a light festival in Baltimore, and unfortunately our speaker, Donna Drew Sawyer, was not able to make it today from Baltimore due to the strikes, so we're really sad about that, but I just wanted to mention that in Baltimore they have a community light parade, so they really try hard to involve their community members in light art during their festival that's been going on for a few years now. And what's even more interesting is in their festival they have even smaller community light art parades in their neighborhoods. So they're really beyond the large festival. Even at the neighborhood level, we're seeing some light parades involving community members. And here we have light decorated objects. So beyond just parades, we're also seeing light being involved in different ways in wearable art, in bicycles, lots of different things, and of course some giant light giants that we'll hear from in a little bit from Fabian Seewald, creative dynamo of Do and Do. We also see light dogs, which we'll hear about more from Phil Holmes of Blackpool. And what is more human than a stick figure? So this stick figure is Valukot from the Lumo Light Festival in Oulu, Finland, where LUCI network was just a few weeks ago for the City Under Microscope. And I thought it was a great example of humans. The stick figure is really a symbol of human, and of moving through a festival, a light festival. I'll show you a little bit about what we experienced there. So a little note of happiness and joy, and this is what we're really feeling in these festivals. And like I said, we'll hear more about these kinds of things like the light giants from Fabian in a second. And I want to end on some of the more participatory ways that festivals are including people, and that's right here in France, in Albertville, l'Éveil des Invisibles. And some of these lantern parades that are happening in France and in other countries maybe were founded in religious aspects, but now can be more secular and are really our way of just to get people together in the streets to light up dark winter months and things like that. And so I'm going to end here in France because my next speaker, Jean-François Zuravic from the Fête des Lumières, will take us through the inspiring Fête des Lumières and how he's been using performance art, parades, and things like that in the Fête des Lumières.